Hi there. Welcome back to another trade recap. It's been 8 months, but we never stopped. And now we're back to try again and see where this leads us. This week was very ugly. We had a bank holiday, choppy price action, and I kind of made some sort of a mistake on Wednesday. But I managed the risk and ended the week kind of green, slightly. First, let's get to the trade on Thursday, my first one. Initially, I was neutral on the bias. My bias shifted kind of bullish after we respected last hourly busy, and I'm gonna show that. This is the Wednesday candle right here, this small one. We swept the sell side here, so my bias was this high inside the fair value gap. Going into the hourly, I was waiting for us to respect this 1 hour busy and then to target this higher time frame high. The confirmation from my bias and draw one liquidity being up there was when we inversed this 5 minutes on the left side. Also, my bias was strong to the upside right here because we had news at 8:30, which made my bias even stronger. And I was waiting for the confirmation setup. So I dropped into a lower time frame. In the 3 minute here, we have this 3 minute possible IFG. This is validated because right here we have this one. We have this 3 minute CV. Right here we have a sweep, which makes this low right here an intermediate term low. This is necessary because if we have a short term low, an intermediate term low, and then again this low right here becomes a short term low, we become bullish till the next high. And when we inverse this 3 minute, I had my confirmation enough to long to buy side, which was the 8:30 Newsweek and the overall higher time frame draw one. And as you can see, this would have worked really nicely. The stop loss would have been the close below the IFG, and this would have worked a 2.2 hour. It would have been really decent. The problem was, as you can see here, the price action was this week was weak, like a barcode, as you can see right here. And I didn't want to take any chances, so I went break even when we tapped this, which kind of looks like a small LRLR. I went break even here, which is a problem because I ended up getting stopped out at break even, and right after, price just expanded. It's really easy to see the mistake here. I choked the trade due to the lack of confidence, but overall, I consider this a good trade. Moving on into the PM session, we can see that we created this intermediate term high here on the higher time frame. Price was in a premium area. When we sweep some sort of liquidity, we are in a premium array for a short time at least. And my draw on liquidity became this unfilled hourly gap right here, because at the time we would easily fill this because of the proximity. And again, when dropping to the 3 minute, this is the intermediate term high, and here we were forming a short term high. When we failed to take the intermediate term high, which we didn't need it to sweep it again because we have already swept the external range liquidity, here we formed this 3 minute busy. And when we inversed it, I took this short targeting the 1 hour unfilled busy. And also I target this low and this right here, which is also a decent trade for me. My confidence was high because of the time and price proximity to the objective, which resulted in a quick and clean win. Moving on into Wednesday, my bias was bullish because we were just rallying up and we inversed this fair value gap to the left on the higher time frame, which made my bias up here. Price action wasn't the best, kinda snaky, a little bit choppy, and after we took this buy side, we inversed this 30-second short fair value gap, and I thought of taking it, but due to the lack of a decent price action, I didn't, which was some sort of a mistake because right here we have some LRLR and we have equal lows here, so this makes this a good draw on liquidity. And then we entered the 10 a.m. macro, as you can see right here. And this is where I made my mistake. This is an intermediate term low. We took all this sell side. So all this becomes short-term lows and this becomes an intermediate term low. If we go now to the right, and if you go in a higher time frame, which isn't necessary, this becomes a short-term low. So with this series of events, short-term low, intermediate-term low, short-term low, we go target buy side. My mistake here is that I failed to understand that this was an intermediate-term low, and I shorted this 30-second gap, which once again was a mistake because here on a 15-minute, I shorted inside a 50-minute busy that I had no idea if it was going to inverse or not. So it was some sort of a gamble. This move that I tried to catch on a 30-second was late. I targeted these lows on the 15 minutes, which kind of looked like a LR, but they were not in the higher time frame. Basically, I was shorting into support without a high time frame sweep, because if we had swept these highs, we would have made an intermediate term high, and then maybe we could have swept the intermediate term low and go lower. But because overall my bias was still bullish, as I said in the beginning, I was shorting against my draw on liquidity on the higher time frame, and all that, including this intermediate term low situation, made this trade bad. As you can see, it resulted in a fast loss. I was stopped out almost immediately, which makes this a bad chase setup. Well, Monday or Friday I took no trades. Spike section was just pure consolidation, and Friday was just an F day. Thursday was a bank holiday, so markets were closed. And overall, the result for the week was a slightly green, but nothing special. Not a perfect week, but I know I protected my capital. And I'll be here for another week. Good luck.